Hello, thanks for taking time to learn more about some of the important changes underway at College of the Desert. I wanted to share this information with you in this manner to ensure that everyone has access to the same information at the same time and in the same manner. Recognizing that we all absorb information in different ways, we will also make this information available in downloadable text and with printable charts for ease of reference. As you all are very aware, I have been working on several issues since I arrived at College of the Desert, particularly those related to FTES over-reporting, but also related to organizational structure and capacity. From my first day, the Board of Trustees has been clear about their expectation. They have charged me with ensuring that we have the right organizational culture, personnel, and tools in place to address all outstanding issues and to support our focus on student success moving forward. You will remember that a comprehensive audit of full-time equivalent students reporting by the college was initiated shortly after my arrival as president. The audit, conducted with full cooperation of the board and administration, was completed in November 2012 by the Fiscal Crisis Management Assistance Team. To make sure we have plugged all the gaps, we invited FCMAT to review our organizational structure and provide recommendations to strengthen our internal processes, increase our monitoring and reporting capabilities, and to put in place additional internal controls, all focused on ensuring we are running an efficient, effective, and high-quality organization in support of our mission, which is focused on student success. At the same time, we've been conducting an organizational review working with two outside community college consultants, looking at the organization from the business, academic, and student affairs side to recommend areas for improvement. Each of these consultants bring over 40 years of experience in their respective fields. During the past few months, we have met with members of our administration, faculty, staff, in individual meetings as well as group meetings. This has been a thorough and inclusive process, and we are very satisfied that the new organizational structure that has emerged will serve COD for many, many years. Recommendations from FCMAT and the organizational consultants included enhancements to strengthen our organization and improve student support functions. These recommendations have been endorsed and the board has authorized me to move forward. What follows is a brief outline of the new organizational structure, including the major units and positions and their reporting relationships. On the student and academic affairs side, in recognition of the priority we place on student success, we are creating a new department called Student Success and Student Learning that will be led by a new Executive Vice President reporting directly to me. Recruitment for that position will begin immediately. However, I have asked Mr. Don Burrs to consider serving as an interim Executive Vice President beginning July 1, 2013. To create this new executive position, the current Vice President of Academic Affairs and the Vice President of Student Affairs positions will be consolidated. The responsibilities for the two Dean positions will be modified, with the Dean of Student Support Services being responsible for mini-corps, Upward Bound, Student Discipline, Student Life, EOPS, CARE, CalWorks, and the International Student Program. The Dean of Access and School Relations will be responsible for admissions and records, financial aid, counseling, concurrent enrollment, and bursar. To add capacity to our student counseling area, a Director of Counseling position will be created to assume responsibility for all areas of counseling. Due to the critical timeline and the need to address student needs, I have asked Academic Senate President Zarel Becker to serve as the Interim Dean of Access and School Relations for the 2013-2014 academic year. Ms. Becker has demonstrated her ability to provide leadership in many capacities. Her credentials include a Master's of Business Administration. In addition, she designed systems in the student services area, providing her an in-depth understanding of the student experience from application through registration, advisement, and degree evaluation. We are also combining the board secretary and clerk responsibilities for the Desert Community College District trustees and the COD Foundation Board into one position, and will soon begin recruitment for a new Chief of Staff position for the President's Office. This change helps centralize resources and support for key leadership in my office to enhance communications as well as more efficiently and effectively align our policy-making efforts to support student success. Recognizing the importance of our program growth and development in our educational centers in Indio, Mecca Thermal, Palm Springs, and Desert Hot Spring campuses, we will be elevating the director position and have the person report to the Executive Vice President of Student Success and Learning. We will immediately open and begin recruiting for this position. The FCMAT recommendations identified several points of failure requiring immediate attention. The creation of a new department for institutional effectiveness, educational services, and planning will begin to address those critical points. The department will be responsible for institutional planning, educational support services, scheduling, curriculum, library, support services, enrollment management, and research, and serve as the college's accreditation liaison officer. In addition, a new Director of Research position reporting to the Executive Dean will be created to oversee research and planning functions, as well as all reporting and regulatory requirements. Our existing research analysts will be reassigned to the Director of Research. The Directors of Research and Title V projects will also report to the Executive Dean. Two final position modifications and reporting changes for the area are that the current Dean over the Library Services and Dean of Information Technology and Research will now report directly to the Executive Dean for Institutional Effectiveness, Educational Services, and Planning. New titles will be Associate Dean of Library Resources and Distance Education and the Chief Information Officer. Dr. Annabelle Neary will be reassigned as the Executive Dean of Institutional Effectiveness, Educational Services, and Planning. These changes are in process starting today, and I believe will greatly enhance our focus on student success, strengthen our ability to report, gather and analyze information and data, as well as adding needed internal capacity and providing much needed backup for some critically important regulatory and reporting functions. The new and modified executive management positions join existing positions which will continue to report directly to me, including Institutional Advancement Office, COD Foundation, Human Resources, and the Vice President of Administrative Services. There will be some changes in the Institutional Advancement Office where we will be consolidating responsibility for some of our key external programs, communications, and relationships. This represents moves for some functions, contract education and website in particular, as well as some added responsibilities for working with our foundation and key workforce education partners to strengthen our relationships, leverage existing resources, and align our efforts more closely in the future. There are no modifications or reporting changes for the open Executive Director of Human Resources and Labor Relations position. The open Vice President of Administrative Services job description is now undergoing final revisions. The interview committee has been selected, and I expect to begin the recruitment process in the next few weeks. Interviews should be underway in June and July with the candidates selected thereafter. We will also be adding 2 positions to the current Business Affairs Office. A new Director of Purchasing and Auxiliary Services position will assume responsibility for purchasing and contracted services and provide some much-needed additional capacity to the department. And a new accountant position will be added to assume responsibility and oversight for the College of the Desert and the COD Foundation and auxiliary finances. In addition, the Director of Fiscal Services position will be reclassified to appropriately reflect its level of responsibility. These modifications and new positions are being added to address the findings in the Fiscal Management Assistant Team report and will strengthen our capacity and oversight considerably. All of these new and revised job descriptions and positions will be going before the Board for consideration and approval in the next few weeks. Director of Purchasing and Auxiliary Services, Director of Facilities, and Director of Security will continue to report directly to the Vice President of Administrative Services. Let's take another look at the changes to highlight what will be happening over the next few months. In the President's Office, there will be some modifications in existing positions, a new Chief of Staff position, and consolidation of 2 positions to create a new department and Executive Vice President position. There will be some new and modified positions in this new department, including modified titles for 2 deans and a new Director of Counseling and a new reporting relationship for the Director of our educational centers. The new Executive Vice President will have a new Executive Dean and department to strengthen our planning, research, analysis, enrollment management, and reporting capabilities that are critically important and the times of rapid change and evolving needs and technology. The Institutional Advancement Office will be modified to integrate key communications and marketing functions and add responsibility for important external relationships and resource development. And finally, we'll be making important changes to address gaps identified in the FCMAT report. The new structure aligns with best practices employed throughout higher education and will go into effect immediately with the understanding that several areas will require adequate time for transition and recruitment of personnel. We believe these structural and organizational changes will enable us to better serve the academic mission of the college. Likewise, we have full confidence in the individuals and departments who will be moving into reporting relationships and joining new teams. We value your many contributions to our college and our students. With the new organizational structure, the college will also provide the appropriate checks and balances for a mid-sized community college. In addition, we have attempted to minimize the fiscal impact and expect less than an overall 1% change to the personnel budget. To help you further visualize the reorganization, we are providing an organizational chart. I want to personally thank you for all of your support as we move forward. I appreciate your commitment to our students, our community, and our college.